Usually when we talk about a medical diagnosis, there is this underlying expectation of mechanical precision. Like you fall, you break your arm, the x-ray shows that jagged white line, and the doctor just points to it. It's binary, broken or not broken.
Right, it's a clean, visible categorization. I mean,
Yeah.
our brains crave that kind of definitive clarity when it comes to our health.
Exactly. But the moment you step into the world of complex genetics and rare diseases, that diagnostic landscape gets murky incredibly fast.
Well, Cola.
Suddenly you're dealing with ailments that don't show up on a standard scan or where the symptoms, mimic a dozen other things. And that is the exact space we are stepping into today. We are unpacking a digest of AI news from August of 2026.
And it's a really fascinating digest.
It is, because our mission for this deep dive is to extract the specific, tangible ways artificial intelligence is shifting away from being this futuristic concept and actually functioning as an active, structural collaborator in your daily life.
Yeah, and the overarching theme in the sources we're analyzing today is how AI is fundamentally reshaping our relationship with complex systems. Like, we are moving way past the novelty phase of, AI generating funny pictures.
Right. The novelty is wearing off.
Exactly. And we're entering a phase of profound structural transformation across things like data processing, physical safety, and honestly, even human creativity.
And the sheer variety of the sources we have today really illustrates that. I mean, we are pulling from medical journals, automotive press releases, the banking sector, and we even end up in the middle of a symphony orchestra.
It's quite a journey.
It really is. So whether you are wondering how your next doctor's visit is going to function or what your car will be doing while you're behind the wheel, there is an absolute paradigm shift waiting for you in this material. So let's start with that first pillar, our physical health.
Okay, let's do it.
The first major breakthrough in our digest comes from the healthcare sector, specifically regarding rare diseases. Researchers have developed an AI system that is achieving just unprecedented accuracy in diagnosing these historically elusive conditions.
Which is huge, because historically, diagnosing a rare disease is just a grueling process for the patient.
Yeah.
I mean, you often have people bouncing from specialist to specialist for years, facing multiple misdiagnoses.
Years of just not knowing what's wrong with you.
Right. And the fundamental bottleneck there has always been that human doctors, no matter how brilliant they just can't possibly memorize the symptom presentations of every single obscure genetic anomaly.
Yeah, that's just too much data.
Exactly. Nor can they mentally cross-reference a patient's entire genomic sequence against, decades of clinical notes in real time. It's a volume issue.
Okay, let's unpack this because I want to make sure I'm visualizing the actual mechanism here. A lot of people might just assume this is a highly specific web search.
Oh, like a Google for doctors.
Yeah, exactly. Like the AI is just a giant medical dictionary that a doctor types some symptoms into. But looking at the source material, this is doing something much more complex than just keyword matching, right? It almost sounds like a code breaker translating an alien language.
What's fascinating here is that the code breaker analogy gets right to the heart of what we call multimodal AI processing.
Multimodal.
Right. It isn't just searching for keywords. This system is simultaneously analyzing massively different types of data. It takes unstructured data, which means the messy, handwritten, or typed clinical notes from a dozen different doctors over 10 years, and reading them using natural language processing.
Okay.
And then it maps the patterns in those messy notes directly against the patient's raw genomic sequencing.
Wow. So it is reading the story of your symptoms and at the exact same time reading the microscopic building blocks of your DNA and overlaying them.
Yes. And then it's cross-referencing that unique overlay against global medical databases in seconds. I mean, a human brain can hold, a few variables at once?
Right, like a patient's age, their primary symptom, maybe a recent blood test.
Exactly. But the AI is holding millions of data points simultaneously and synthesizing them. It spots the invisible correlations.
Give me an example of an invisible correlation.
Well, for instance, it might notice that the seemingly irrelevant skin rash mentioned in a clinical note from, say, 5 years ago perfectly aligns with a specific genetic marker for a rare autoimmune disorder.
Oh, wow. So it's finding connections that are mathematically impossible for a human to calculate in a standard 15-minute medical consultation.
Absolutely impossible.
And the source text notes the ultimate goal is global deployment, right? To assist healthcare professionals everywhere. By providing timely, precise interventions for conditions that are historically overlooked, We are talking about elevating the baseline of diagnostic care globally.
It's a total paradigm shift.
Mm.
It turns a process of trial and error elimination into a process of targeted precision.
Which is a massive optimization of our internal biology. But our digest also shows us how AI is navigating the macro, external physical world to keep us safe.
Moving from the body to the streets.
Exactly. Let's look at how this exact kind of predictive intelligence is being applied to the city grid. The digest highlights a recent announcement from a major car maker, and they're investing heavily in autonomous vehicles.
Right. Their newest model features an AI that adapts to traffic conditions in real time to enhance passenger safety and comfort.
And I have to admit, when I read the phrase learns from its environment, I was a bit skeptical.
Oh, why is that?
Well, my phone already does a version of this, doesn't it? If I'm driving and there's a traffic jam a mile ahead, my map app sees the slowdown from the swarm data of other phones and just reroutes me.
Sure, we all use that.
Right, so is this new AI just doing that exact same thing, but actually turning the steering wheel for me?
No. The system on your phone is entirely reactive,
Hmm.
and it relies on processing that happens in a distant cloud server.
Okay.
The AI described in this digest relies on something called edge computing, combined with sensor fusion.
Edge computing, meaning the computing happens on the edge of the network, like locally.
Exactly. The car itself is essentially a rolling supercomputer, processing terabytes of data locally in milliseconds. It isn't waiting to ping a server in another state to find out there's a traffic jam.
Because that takes too long.
Right. Instead, it is using LiDAR, radar, and optical cameras simultaneously to analyze the micro-behaviors of the physical world around it.
Okay, wait, give me an example of a micro behavior. We're talking about like the speed of the car in front of me.
Much more granular than that is analyzing the subtle braking patterns of a vehicle a quarter mile ahead. It's reading the weather conditions affecting tire traction on a specific patch of asphalt.
Oh, wow.
It's even analyzing the body language of a pedestrian on the sidewalk, like tracking the rotation of their shoulders to predict if they're about to step into the crosswalk before they actually lift their foot.
Wait, it's watching their shoulders. That is wild. So while my phone tells me a traffic jam has already happened, this autonomous car is predicting that a traffic jam is about to form because someone 4 cars ahead is braking a fraction of a second too late.
You've got it. Furthermore, it adjusts your vehicle's speed before that ripple effect even reaches you.
That's incredible.
Think about a phantom traffic jam. You know, those highway standstills caused by nothing but a wave of human overbraking.
Oh, I hate those. Where you finally get to the front and there's no accident, no construction, nothing.
Exactly. Well, the source explicitly ties this technology to macro-scale urban safety and lower emissions. Because if you have a network of vehicles anticipating traffic flow and making perfectly smoothed split-second adjustments, you drastically reduce that stop-and-go friction.
You just eliminate the phantom traffic jams entirely.
Right. By optimizing the physical flow of the city, the AI fundamentally transforms environmental outcomes. The car becomes an active participant in an intelligent transit organism.
That is such a wild mental image, the entire highway acting as a single breathing organism.
It really is.
And, well, that concept of predictive flow actually leads us incredibly well into the third section of our digest. Because we are taking that exact same predictive power being used to anticipate a physical bottleneck on a highway, and we are deploying it to anticipate a financial bottleneck in your bank account.
The architecture required to predict the flow of cars is remarkably similar to the architecture required to predict the flow of capital.
Because it's all just data.
Exactly. Both require making sense of massive amounts of chaotic, high-velocity data.
So according to the source, the finance sector is seeing a total revolution in money management. A major bank recently unveiled an AI-powered assistant that uses machine learning to detect fraudulent activity, assess credit risk, and highly personalize the banking experience.
It learns your spending habits, offers tailored advice, and just continuously improves its recommendations.
Okay, so what does this all mean? Because when I hear financial assistant, I immediately picture those clunky budget apps that send you a passive-aggressive notification when you buy too much coffee.
Right, the guilt trip apps.
Exactly. Is this just a highly automated, glorified spreadsheet?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this represents a structural inversion of how personal finance operates. A traditional spreadsheet or a standard budget app is basically a financial autopsy.
A financial autopsy. That is a painfully accurate description.
Right. It's entirely backward-looking. It tells you what you already did, where you already overspent. But this AI, however, is a predictive modeler.
Okay, so it's looking forward.
Exactly. The machine learning algorithms are running complex simulations of your financial future in the background all the time.
Simulating my bank account.
Yes. So when the digest mentions assessing credit risk and personalizing advice, it means the AI is dynamically evaluating how a single purchase today cascades into your financial picture 6 months from now.
Oh, wow. So if I buy that expensive coffee, it's calculating how that impacts my ability to, say, pay my car insurance in December.
Precisely. It is democratizing high-level financial analysis. I mean, previously, running predictive spending models was something only massive corporations with dedicated accounting departments could do. Now, that analytical power is sitting right in your pocket.
But let me challenge the predictability of this for a second. Because a car driving on a highway operates within the laws of physics, right?
Right.
Human spending is incredibly irrational.
Hmm.
We get sad and we buy a sweater we don't need, or we suddenly decide to splurge on a vacation because we had a bad week. How does a mathematical model predict the impulsivity of human emotion?
That's the brilliance of it. It models your volatility.
That volatility.
Yeah. The AI isn't drawing a straight linear line of your spending. It's using probabilistic modeling. It learns the conditions under which you are most likely to be impulsive.
Really? It can learn that.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
recognizes patterns. Perhaps you consistently overspend on dining out during the final week of a stressful financial quarter at work. By identifying the pattern of your irrationality, it can proactively adjust your liquid savings recommendations earlier in the month.
Wait, so it creates a buffer for the impulsivity it mathematically knows is coming.
Exactly.
That is crazy. So it is actively coaching you by building guardrails around your own predicted behavior.
Yes, it analyzes the fraud risk of a transaction in a millisecond, while simultaneously figuring out if your current trajectory means you can afford a mortgage in 2 years.
It just removes all the opacity from personal finance.
Completely. It turns a system that historically feels adversarial, where the bank is judging your creditworthiness behind closed doors, into a collaborative system. The AI is actively working to optimize your financial environment.
Wow. Well, that idea of human and machine collaboration brings us to the final and frankly most surprising realm covered in this digest, because we've seen AI optimize our biology, our commutes, and our bank accounts.
Which are all very practical things.
Very practical. But now we are looking at how it's interacting with the human soul, the creative arts.
And this is inevitably the area that generates the most friction,
Oh, absolutely.
because it touches on what we consider to be our uniquely human domain. I mean, optimizing a traffic grid feels like a math problem. Composing music feels like magic.
Yeah, but the Source Digest details how artists and musicians are now deeply collaborating with AI. We are looking at a recent exhibition featuring AI-generated artwork that successfully reflected multiple distinct styles and influences. And in the music industry, AI tools are actively composing symphonies, writing lyrics, and performing live alongside human musicians.
It's happening right now.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because reading this forced me to ask a massive philosophical question.
Okay, let's hear it.
If I sit down and write a prompt, right, and an AI uses its vast database to compose the symphony, write the lyrics, and then a machine performs it, who is the actual artist?
The million-dollar question.
Am I the artist, or am I just a customer placing an order at a creative drive-through?
Well, this raises an important question, and the source material explicitly acknowledges that these works are challenging our traditional notions of authorship.
I mean, they have to.
Right, but to understand who the artist is, we really have to look at the mechanism of how generative AI actually creates. It isn't just copying and pasting from a database of existing songs. It utilizes something called latent space.
Latent space, what exactly is that?
Okay, imagine a massive, multidimensional mathematical map.
A map.
Yes, and on this map, every single concept, musical note, tempo, and emotional resonance from all of human history is assigned a specific location.
Okay, I'm visualizing a giant 3D grid.
Good. So the AI has mapped the mathematical relationship between, say, the melancholy of a cello and the tempo of a jazz snare drum. When an AI composes a symphony, it is navigating this latent space. It is synthesizing the math of human aesthetics.
That is mind-bending. So it understands the underlying architecture of what makes a song feel sad or what makes a painting feel chaotic, and it generates a completely new pathway through that architecture.
Yes, exactly. And this is why the digest emphasizes the word collaboration.
Right.
Think of the AI not as a replacement creator, but as the ultimate synthesizer. When the electronic synthesizer was invented in the 20th century, purists feared it would destroy the orchestra.
Oh, yeah. People thought it was the end of real music.
But instead, It gave artists an entirely new instrument that created genres of music that were previously impossible.
Because one human could suddenly explore thousands of stylistic variations, right? And they could execute ideas at a scale that they could just never physically play on a single acoustic instrument.
Precisely. Authorship becomes a shared endeavor. The human provides the emotional intent, the context, and the curation.
The human decides why the song needs to exist in the first place.
Yes. And the AI provides the synthesis of historical styles and the execution of the mathematics. It sparked a massive debate on the future of human creativity, sure, but the evidence in the digest points toward an unprecedented expansion of what we can create, rather than a contraction.
It is just wild to step back and look at the sheer scope of what this single digest has revealed to us today. I mean, we set out to extract the tangible ways AI is becoming an active collaborator, and I think we found exactly that.
It's everywhere.
It really is. We've explored multimodal AI acting as a medical codebreaker, right? Synthesizing messy clinical notes and genetics to diagnose rare diseases.
Saving lives.
Yeah. And we've seen edge computing turn a car into a proactive transit organism, predicting micro behaviors to clear our roads.
And reducing emissions.
Exactly. We've watched machine learning act as a personalized financial coach, modeling our own volatility to democratize risk assessment. And finally, we've seen generative AI act as a creative synthesizer, mapping the latent space of human aesthetics to expand the boundaries of art.
And for you listening, the ultimate takeaway from these sources is that the integration is already happening.
It's not the future, it's now.
Right. AI is no longer a distant abstract concept confined to a research lab. It is a highly customizable tool being deployed right now to offer structural solutions to your most pressing daily challenges, from ensuring you stay physically healthy, to keeping you safe on the road, to securing your financial future.
It really is. And, it leaves me with one massive lingering thought that I want to pass on to you, the listener, to mull over long after this deep dive ends. Think back to the very beginning of our conversation, to that idea of the murky waters of medical diagnosis.
The confusion and the guesswork.
Right. Across every topic today, AI is acting as the ultimate filter. It is clearing the muddy waters in our biology, our traffic, our finances, and even the technical hurdles of creating art. It's providing clarity where there was once only chaos.
That's a great way to look at it.
But here is the provocative question that leaves us with. If AI can perfectly diagnose our rarest diseases, if it can flawlessly drive our cars through the most chaotic traffic, if it can impeccably manage our money and beautifully compose our symphonies, what new, currently unimaginable human pursuits will we invent to fill all of our newly freed up time and mental energy?
That is the big unknown.
When the murky waters finally become crystal clear, what do we decide to build on the shore? Something to think about. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.